I want to thank you, Madam Chair, for holding today's hearing on the Department of Homeland Security's Transportation Worker Identification Credential Program, something that many of us who've served on this committee have been dealing with, not only with our constituents, but with our individual constituents and our corporate constituents, such as the Houston Port Authority. We've tried to be responsive to our individuals' constituents who simply need to get to work. And to our dismay, there have been a number of challenges with this program, though I know that its intentions were well-intentioned. Challenges that I would like to offer for the record are the site locations for individuals, the hours the TWIC offices would be open, the difficulty of those who lived away from ports or places like Louisiana, where they had to secure them places away from their particular home base. So there have been a lot of issues that have arisen with TWIC, and as I indicated, the intentions were good to give this card of identification. As a member of Congress representing the Port of Houston, and a former chairwoman and ranking member of the Subcommittee on Transportation Security, and now working with this committee, and Madam Chair, I've been focused on the TWIC program since its creation. Early on, I engaged ports, workers, and other stakeholders about the program and heard their concerns about how it was being deployed. Like many of my colleagues, my office has received significant amounts of TWIC casework, primarily from workers having difficulty obtaining and renewing their TWIC cards. While some of the issues with the program have largely been addressed over time, other concerns have taken their place. I'm particularly troubled by the Government Accountability Office report released last month that found serious problems with the TWIC reader pilot, which was intended to serve as the basis for the TWIC reader rulemaking. GAOs found that the pilot results were incomplete, inaccurate, and unreliable for informing Congress and for developing a final reader rule. GAO concluded these issues call into question the TIC program's premise and its effectiveness in enhancing security. These concerns, coupled with prior unaddressed issues related to security vulnerabilities with the program, prompted GAO to recommend that the Department not move forward until a security assessment of the program is completed. However, DHS, which was made aware of GAO's finding in December of 2012, published a notice of proposed rulemaking for the TWIC readers in March of this year. The NPRM would require readers to be deployed to only to the highest risk facilities and vessels accessed by just 5% of TWIC holders. While nothing precludes DHS from expanding the reader requirement in the future, such a limited deployment of biometric readers is not what Congress envisioned when it mandated the TWIC program, and I would encourage DHS to regroup and reassess, take more advice and counsel from stakeholders, more importantly, reassess the technology. Technology is good, but it can be even better, obviously, if we pause for a moment and try to develop the technology that will, in fact, work. I'm not advocating for broader deployment of readers at present, but I'm concerned that DHS would ask port workers to pay for a biometric card whose biometric capabilities apparently may never be utilized. More broadly, I'm concerned that DHS appears to be moving forward with its long-delayed reader rule before addressing the fundamental concerns with the program GAO has identified in its reports. I was pleased to invite from the port Mr. Marcus Woodring, who we have engaged and over the years has given effective service in the United States Coast Guard and has dealt with the TWIC issue over and over again, to testify before the subcommittee today to offer his port's perspective on the issues facing the TWIC program. Besides being one of the nation's major ports with a significant presence of petrochemical-related facilities and vessels, the Port of Houston has been using TWIC readers voluntarily since 2008. Mr. Woodring currently serves as Managing Director for Health, Safety, Security, and Environmental at the Port of Houston Authority, having recently served in the Coast Guard, culminating with service as Captain of the Port for the Houston region. I'm especially interested in hearing from him about the Port of Houston's experience with TWIC readers and his views on how the TWIC program can be strengthened going forward. I'm delighted that he is here along with all the other witnesses who I welcome. I want to hear from our DHS witnesses about how they plan to address GAO's recommendation, ensure TWIC programs become the maritime security program Congress intended, that ports and facilities can use without undue disruption to their businesses, and that DHS can justify asking maritime workers to continue to pay for. Finally, I would note that I have previously supported one enrollment process, one fee, and one security threat assessment for transportation workers. Madam Chairwoman, I will tell you, with all the numbers of cards that I've heard workers having to have, it may be well time for us to try and do that. And I'd like to hear from witnesses today about how the ongoing issues with the TWIC program might affect this effort. Again, we're grateful for the witnesses, and I want to acknowledge Mr. O'Rourke and Ms. Gabbard present here today, and thank you very much, Madam Chair. I yield back.